What's up, y'all? We back at it again looking for Officer Rodriguez. As you all know, these boys at Edgeware Apartments are very dangerous. As y'all see last time, these boys like to use knives. They like to get active, so we about to get into it. Upon arriving on scene, I began assessing the situation and identifying potential threats in the area. During my approach, I made contact with the suspect who was armed. Advancing our way to the rear of the apartment complex, I made contact with another threat who charged at me with a knife. He almost closed the gap. I couldn't waste any more time. I had to neutralize the threat. As we made our way to the rear entrance of the apartment complex, we discovered Officer Rodriguez, and he had been restrained and severely beaten. At this moment, y'all, our priority shifted to locating any remaining threats and getting Officer Rodriguez the help that he needed. See, we call it in to dispatch, but EMS can't even come to the scene unless the scene is safe. And so we got to go ahead and eliminate any more threats, get people into custody so that Officer Rodriguez can get the help that he needs. As I approached the door, I could hear suspect moving on the other side. I opened the door and immediately encountered an armed suspect with a firearm in his hand. Due to the immediate threat, the suspect's possession of a weapon, I reacted quickly and neutralized the threat. Um, as you all know, these boys are not like the police. They're not wasting any time. Bro did not come through that door to sing Kumbaya. It's obvious that these guys are not like the police. You seen what they did to Officer Rodriguez, and we gotta handle business, or else we're gonna end up just like him. As I'm making contact with the civilian and getting them to comply, shots ring out from the dining room. My partner's taking contact, and I've got to get the civilian covered. But it's like it's just me and him. So I went out there to go ahead and back him up because I don't know what's going on. From the looks of it, the way he's handling everything, it looks like the situation is under control. Because the way he moved through the threshold back outside, as we go outside, I see a suspect to my left. We call it in dispatch, and then I see another suspect right there by the door. So it looked like it was two guys. He took care of them, and we're moving forward in the mission. At this point, I decided to avoid the apartment complex through the center stairwell. From a tactical standpoint, I felt like it created too many unnecessary risks. There are multiple entry points, multiple suspects potentially inside the building, and the stairwell itself offers little to no cover or concealment. Um, so I just think it's better that we just go from the outside in and go ahead and clear out the apartment. As you all can see, we have a suspect that was waiting by the door when we entered through that way, and we was able to eliminate him. He had a knife in his hand. He didn't comply to our verbal commands, so we took out the threat. I'm not wasting no time. You see what they did to Officer Rodriguez. That's not going to be me. But as you all see, there are multiple doorways in the middle of the stairwell, bro. It's dangerous, bro. And there's no telling how many suspects have barricaded themselves in here. And so we're just going to go ahead and clear out the apartment complex from the outside in, moving to the next apartment over. Instead of pushing through the apartment, I decided to backtrack the way we came. We exited the building, moved back downstairs, and repositioned to the front of the apartment complex. And look what happened. These boys are on the stairs waiting for us. Like, look at this. They're deep in that stairwell. Like I said, bro. And so I started taking shots. Actually, I got shots taken at me. These boys ain't wasting no time. They hate the police. It quickly turned into a multiple angle engagement. So we had to identify as many threats as we could and use the cover that we could find. I ended up taking a hit. I had to get my tourniquet out, put on my tourniquet, and we ended up pushing forward. We still handle business, but we got guys still coming from different angles, right? And they're moving fast. I'm telling you, these guys are on some type of drug or something. These boys on something, bro. But again, we're taking two gunshots from upstairs, downstairs, and this is one of the reasons why I did not want to go in the middle of the stairwells, bro. In the middle stairwell, like, that's just dangerous. So we ended up rerouting again. We pushed on the side of the apartments, going further down to like where that basement area was. As soon as we made contact with a civilian, I started taking fire from the window, and instead of standing there, getting into a gunfight through the glass, I decided to back off, reposition myself, disengage a little bit. We ended up headed back to the rear stairwell where we cleared out earlier to make our way to the third floor. In this situation, my thinking was I wanted to get a better angle. I didn't want to get in a fight on the suspect's terms. And there's no telling how many gunmen were in that room shooting at me through the window. And I'm not John Wick. You know what I'm saying? We got to play this thing smart. There's only two officers at the scene at this time. So we got to move smart. We make our way up to the third floor apartment and we clear the room leading up to it. Once we were set, we ended up stacking up on the door, making sure everything was clear, and then we moved forward. We ended up stacking up on that second door. My partner ended up cracking a peek in the door real quick. I peeked inside, I made visual with the contact, and engaged and took him down. After eliminating the suspect, we made entry into the apartment and began clearing the rest of the rooms to make sure that there are no additional threats in the area. And then dispatch hit us with some crazy stuff over the radio telling us there's a hostage situation. At this point, everything changes. Knowing that an innocent life is on the line raises pressure, bro. It makes it a very scary situation. But I was able to use my sight alignment, trigger press, and I was able to save somebody's life. Stay back or they're dead. A phrase that I do not like to hear. At this point, I already knew that there's another hostage situation on our hands, and immediately we moved to investigate the situation. Sure enough, there's a guy being held at gunpoint, but I ain't waste no time. I took him out. If that don't sound like the devil himself, listen, bro, this boy is on some type of drugs, bro. And the way he sound violent, and he sound like he don't care about dying. And so, we gotta really make sure that we make the right decision in this situation. We're gonna go ahead and I don't know where this guy is, to be honest with you, but I think it's coming from the door. We slowly make our way to the door and begin a threshold evaluation. The moment I peek in the door, the suspect opens fire and I get hit immediately. And I dove back in the cover to make sure I'm good before things got worse. I ended up getting hit, so I had to wrap up. My partner ended up going in, went through the threshold, and got popped. So I started to hear footsteps, bro. So my nerves got bad. I'm like, are they coming from in front of me? Are they in the room? Are they coming from behind me down the stairs? I don't know. So I'm by myself. So I just go ahead and just keep moving.